This is Jerry Ayers with Supernatural Investigators of Minnesota, and you're listening to Ghost in the Valley podcast.
Hello and welcome to Ghost in the Valley podcast. I'm your host, Cooley. Today I have a special presentation on what the heck is happening in Ohio. March has really come in like a lion for sure. We've had an earthquake, we've had a meteor shower, parts have fallen in the Lake Erie, and we've had multiple sightings of Bigfoot in my area, Portage and Trumbull counties, Ohio. We're going to skip over the earthquake, and then we had, just as of 2 days ago, a meteor traveling over northeastern Ohio that many have captured on their cell phones and other devices, a couple parts breaking off and going into Lake Erie. But the big news I want to talk about today is Bigfoot. My area is not really huge on sightings of Bigfoot. When I say my area, I mean northern Trumbull County. I mean, there's have been some sightings, but this many, at least 7, that has come across my desk in this area. What I'm going to get to is very, very interesting. Yes, any crackpot and their brother can come up with a Bigfoot story that some big hairy animal smells like eggs, rotten eggs, running through the backyard. Yes, I know that. But when you get some stories that are pretty legitimate, and a couple of them are not even saying it's Bigfoot. They're just saying it was a big creature, 10 foot tall. But we're going to get on all that. It started out on March 6th in Mantua, Ohio, Mantua Center. At 12:23 p.m., a Bigfoot was spotted. They say it was about a 9 foot tall creature. Then on the 7th, March 7th, an animal with very long arms, a deep grunt, deep growls, and muddy footprints were spotted. Again, in the tree lines outside Mantua. On March 9th, there were 3 sightings, and the 3 sightings were within 8 hours apart. So from 8 feet tall and 10 feet tall. Had a very bad odor, and it had very long strides. On March 10th at 4 a.m. in the morning in Newton Township. That's about a mile away from my place. I'm in Newton Falls. So in Newton Township, a dog went spastic outside their home when a creature about 9 foot tall was spotted again walking along the tree line. Those were official sightings, and what I want to get into about those sightings is it's following a path. We want to get into also, that I think is very important, the Ravenna Arsenal, which is very mysterious indeed. The reason I say that is because they have open deer hunting in there once or twice a year when the deer population gets overly populated and they want to take some of these deer out. So they welcome the public to come in and they direct you to where to go to hunt the deer. You just can't go anywhere on the Ohio National Guard base. It's a huge base, and they pick where you have to go to deer hunt, which I think is pretty cool. But according to a friend of mine, these are controlled hunting spots, and there has been mysterious activity inside those campgrounds. Personally, I worked there about 40 years ago. I was a security guard. I worked for Ace Security, and we patrolled the area and the perimeter of Ravenna Arsenal, which is now Some refer to it as Camp Garfield. But when I was there, I was led to where I had to make my key rings every other hour. And it's a huge, like I said before, it's a huge base. And it's kind of weird. I heard a very weird noise. About 3 a.m. It was on a hot night. I can't remember what exactly time or date it was, but I do remember that noise I heard. And I was headed back in a little roadway that led me to where this noise was, and I was stopped by the military on Camp Ravenna. And I always thought that was strange, that why did they hire an outside source as in Ace Security to do their security checks when they have it's a National Guard base, for crying out loud. Why don't they do their own security? So I always thought that was strange. Maybe somebody can explain that to me someday. But anyway, I was led back to my vehicle, and I was told to stay there for the rest of the night, not to make any more key rings. I found that very fascinating. Now, maybe they knew something I didn't know, what these grunts and these growls were. And sometimes there was like a howling sound that came with that. And they closed off a couple of the roads that I did my security on. So I said, okay, you can pay me for the rest of the night for sitting in my car and not doing anything. But I thought that was very strange. Well, let's fast forward to 40 years ahead to now, today. Same thing. Weird activity going inside. Some people are spotting a Bigfoot creature in and outside the gates of Camp Garfield. There have been reports of Bigfoot sightings in West Branch, Deer Creek, Mantua, Berlin Center, Berlin Reservoir, Lake Milton, Newton Falls, Garrettsville, Windom. This is all around my area. And I find that very, very fascinating, all within 2 to 3 week span. And it's been virtually kind of quiet around here. I mean, if there has been, I haven't heard about it. But sightings of the Bigfoot, some claim that it is black. Some say it is brown. Some say it's kind of a reddish rust color. But my thinking is they move in packs. They don't move just one. If you see one, there's a few other somewhere nearby. That's what I've been told by Bigfoot investigators, trackers. And I think that's what's happening here in Windom, Garrettsville, Newton Township, Mantua Center. I think because you're seeing a 10-footer, an 8-footer, a 6-footer, I think it's because they're in packs. You're not seeing the same Bigfoot. Some are black, some are brown. Some run at a very high rate of speed. Then the routes that are being traveled, some call it a migration route. And this is the same type of route that the deer and other wildlife take. I have not been on the route, but I have been told by numerous people that this seems to be the route that, or close to the route that these spottings are people are spotting these creatures at, which kind of makes sense to me. So there's a pattern here, and the pattern is going south-southeast. And I'm thinking, because of the warmer weather, because of the earthquakes, and animals can sense things way before a human can. Little tremors they can sense way before we can. So are these tremors of these earthquakes push them out of their habitat? Is it the seasonal weather? I really don't know. But the sightings have really, really ramped up. The first 2 weeks alone in March of 2026 has been very active, very, very active. Like I said, on March 6th, March 7th, March 9th, March 10th. And just recently, as of last night, March 17th, I had a story come to me. Matter of fact, this is a second story come to me from the Newton Falls covered bridge. Somebody spotted a Bigfoot down, not on the bridge, but down in the bank along the river. As they were crossing the bridge on the walking path that runs outside the covered bridge in Newton Falls, they heard a noise like breaking of branches. No grunts, no smell, nothing like that. just breaking of branches, of some big branches. Sounds like cracking noise. And this individual looked over the side and seen a huge shadowy creature walking along inside the brush. And then it just disappeared. But it was headed south. So I don't know if it was heading towards Lake Milton, because there were sightings also in Lake Milton, which is south of Newton Falls. But you've had 8 sightings in 120 hours, the most in the country. 8 sightings in 120 hours. Let's recap a little bit on that. On March 6th, Mantua Center, and March 7th, Mantua Center, a 9-foot and 8-foot brown creature was spotted. On March 9th, in Garrettsville, Ohio, an 8-foot black creature was spotted. On March 9th, again, in Garrettsville, an 8-foot black creature was spotted. On March 9th, the same day, in Windom, Ohio, just a few miles away, was spotted 6 feet tall, and it was brown, not black. A day later, on March 10th, in Newton Township, a 10-foot black Bigfoot was spotted, and it appears it was headed towards Lake Milton. Now, in Trumbull County, my county, in Newton Township, a couple miles away, the lady in Newton Township on March 10th was very, very upset. Her dog, a German Shepherd, just went absolutely wild, went spastic of this creature in the woods. It was between 8 to 10 feet tall, and she says it definitely was not a bear. It definitely was not a bear. Now, some consider this pathway that these creatures are taking, they call it the Greenway Highway. Now, that's the Greenway Highway theory. They don't just wander through the forest. They move with a purpose. They don't just wander and walk around. There's a purpose where they're going. There's a destination where they're headed, whether it be food, whether it be water, it could be numerous things. So there's a pattern. I see the pattern. If you look at the map and you go online and you check the map on the Greenway Highway theory, there is a structure of how they're moving here. It seems like we're going in a straight path south to southeast. That's how these calls are coming in. That's how these people are spotting it. But if you get a chance, please check out the Bigfoot Society and also the Weekly Strange. They give updates and calls that come in. If you have a sighting, report it to them, report it to me. I love to give updates. I love to see what's going on in the area. This area's been quite quiet for a while. When I say this area, I'm talking about Newton Falls, Ohio. So I just want to jump on here real quick, give a quick update on the meteor, the earthquakes, and the Bigfoots. More than one. I'm your host, Al Cooley. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you next time on Ghost in the Valley podcast.